Yeah, because I said that almost every cinematic cliche
Yeah.
is in this movie, good and bad, non-genre specific, I think, except for science fiction. I
Yeah.
don't think we have any sci-fi cliches in
I'd
here.
have to think. I'd have to think about it. We could probably find something that is close, but yeah.
Yeah, I know, right? Hey everyone, welcome back to the Visually Stunning Movie Podcast. I'm Mark. That's Ryan. Hi, Ryan.
Hello.
So this is probably this is going to be our last movie review for 2025, I think.
Yeah.
I know we're going to talk again because we're going to talk about Utah Film Critics Association
Yeah.
end of year awards nominations.
Sure.
But we saw, I think, our last in theater new movie last night. So what we're going to do is we're going to do an Amanda Seyfried double feature because we're going to talk about the movie from last night that opens this week on the 19th. And we're going to talk about another movie she's in that opens next week on Christmas. So it's kind of our Christmas episode, and everyone gets double presents.
Well,
Yeah, except for the people that have to watch them. Spoiler alert. Last night, the Housemaid,
yeah.
Amanda Seyfried, and Sydney Sweeney, Brandon Sklenar, directed by Paul Feig, who did not help write it.
No.
Which is nice. Look, they don't want us to reveal any secrets. Secrets, he said with air quotes. That about this movie. And I can understand why.
Sure.
Because you may have a cinematic novice go into this film and be absolutely shocked at all of the things that happen. But if you've ever seen a movie, you may not be surprised at all of the things that happen in this movie. So, simply put, Sydney Sweeney, struggling, hired as a live-in housemaid.
Yes,
Amanda Seyfried,
under false pretense.
Yes, she applies under false pretenses, but gets the job. So, and that's it. That's really all we can tell you, except that Amanda Seyfried is a very uneven employer. We'll say she's uneven. That's the word I'm going to use. And so confusion often reigns for Sydney Sweeney's character, Millie. I don't know if you're aware, Ryan, but Sydney Sweeney is kind of in a weird place right now. There was a time, I don't know, a scant 24 months ago, when apparently she was the end all be all of future Hollywood. However, I would like to point out that we get that about every 2 to 3 years. We get the next big thing. However, she had just really, she came off of was it Euphoria or White Lotus?
Well, White Lotus was kind of
put her on the map. Yeah. So
I mean, she was White Lotus was the big breakthrough. Although she had been certainly simmering previously.
Oh, turns out she's in both.
Yeah, she is in both.
Ironically,
yes,
I don't watch either one of those shows.
Yeah, White Lotus kind of put her over.
Yeah,
if that makes
yeah. But then she did some films. She did work before then. But then she came out with Night Teeth, which actually is on my list to watch. I didn't realize she was in it. I just liked the synopsis. She did a movie called Americana in 2023, which
did not do well.
Was not good.
No.
But then she hit huge, and she did Anyone But You, which rom-com with Hollywood's other current fascination, Glenn Powell, which apparently just did gangbusters.
Did
And
it?
then she also made
I
because
never
she
saw
got
it.
to make because she got to make Anyone But You, or because she made Anyone But You, she got to make Immaculate, which is a horror movie that I really enjoyed. Between those two, she slipped in a superhero movie called Madam Web.
Well,
I'm just saying.
that
Um,
we can
so,
argue whether or not that's actually a superhero film, but that's okay. All right.
yeah, fair enough. A Marvel film then, Sony Marvel. So yeah, so a little bit uneven, but she was riding pretty high. And then she did a jeans ad, and people went crazy because people are dumb. Uh, but but this year she has three movies this year and one late last year. Late last year she did Eden, Ron Howard's should have been success, but not.
Was not, no.
She made a movie with Julianne Moore this year called Echo Valley, which I enjoyed, but wasn't going to be big. Then she has The Housemaid right now, but before that, she did the Christy Martin biopic, Christy,
Mm.
which did not do well. So right now, she is talented if you watch her. And I will say this about The Housemaid, and and afterwards you can agree or disagree and then expound as you would like. Her and Amanda Seyfried did everything they could with the Housemaid script to try and make this movie something other than what it was. I don't know if you agree or disagree with that. I know we disagree on the end result of the film. I just don't know how you feel about the pieces.
I mean, I think that no one phoned it in. Um, I think everyone was, you know, trying. I think that, you know, the thing that holds this film back the most is it has, for me, some major tone issues where it can't quite decide how serious it wants to be taken. Um, how fun is this film supposed to be? Um, and I think that's for me where the issues arise in this one. The acting is fine. No one wins. No, this is one of those films that even if it's a masterpiece, I think I'd have a hard time
Rewarding it,
giving it awards. I don't know.
right?
Maybe if it all came together perfectly, I'd feel differently. But it just this is a film that I don't know that it knows exactly what genre it fits in. Um, I think if you look at the director's past, you kind of get a hint that this may not be entirely serious, that there may be some camp involved. But I think that even knowing that going in, it's still hard to initially, at least, find the camp.
Well,
Uh,
and yeah, real quick, the problem with camp is that you either have to camp or not. You can't kind of camp, you
and I,
know?
I think this film wanted to be a little clever, and in being clever, I think it actually kind of undermined itself. Um, I think by the time things just completely go off the rails, um, I think it's a little too late. You've already kind of got us lost in the forest, and whereas I don't- it's definitely a hard tone to get. Um, you want it to be ridiculous, but not so ridiculous. Although, but yeah, I don't know.
Or you want it to be so ridiculous.
Yes,
Yeah, that's what I mean. You have to commit.
yeah, you have to, and I don't know that you know that this film did, and I don't know. I think part of I just think this film didn't quite do what it wanted to do. Um, and it is by no means the worst film that I've seen in the past few weeks. Um,
No, I know which one it is because I haven't seen it.
yeah, I have a particular film that I really disliked, and disliked almost instantly, and that's Ella McKay, if you're wondering.
You can read his review on the site.
But and I don't want to dwell on that too much, but that wanted to be a certain film, and it was never going to get there with the
Right.
script that it had, and the direction that it had, and quite possibly the cast that it had. That there was so much that went wrong in that one. This one, I don't know that as much went wrong. um I just don't know that it found what it wanted to be. um I guess, this is a film that and all films are to a certain extent meant to be enjoyed, but this is a film where you're supposed to, I think, really enjoy the over the topness of everything. But I think that it struggles to get to that over the topness, and it struggles to get to a place where everything's entertaining. It's just kind of creepy and uncomfortable for a while.
Yeah, because I said that almost every cinematic cliche
Yeah.
is in this movie, good and bad, non-genre specific, I think, except for science fiction. I
Yeah.
don't think we have any sci-fi cliches in here.
I'd have to think about it. We could probably find something that is close, but yeah.
Yeah, I know, right? But it's just it does not come together. This, you know what? It's in the film. This quiche does not rise.
Yes.
Um, and like I said, they try their damnedest. Uh, if you want a crazy person, Amanda Seyfried delivers some of the time. Some of the time, it's that too over the top, not quite camp.
Yeah, and I
And
think that
some of it is just like spot on. You're watching like that is a crazy woman right there. That is a crazy woman.
yeah, and yeah, there's a lot of things that point to where this film is going. Um, Maybe again, I think if it had been pure camp and over the top, it's easier to let it go into those cliched areas.
Yes.
Because it feels, and that's and it this may be the case, that it feels that that is where they absolutely wanted it to go. Whereas you get this kind of mixed feeling with this film. There's enough question that you're not sure if they really wanted to go there, um, until maybe they've already gotten and left there, if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
right. And then you look back, you're like, oh.
Yeah.
And if you don't like narration, you're not gonna
I
enjoy this film.
Well, and the way that they use it, um, man, there's a lot going on in this film.
There's a lot going on in this film.
I mean, they're mining. If you were to take a screenwriting class, I wouldn't use this film necessarily as an example of a good screenplay, but it seems to manage to fit in two or three or four different kinds of screenplays that you could write. Um, Narration heavy, unreliable. Anyway, there's just, I mean, it's I'm surprised that there were, I think there were two people listed as writers, because it certainly feels
Yes.
like there were more than two people writing this. Um, and maybe, that's where the director comes in as well. I don't know. I just, I didn't like it, I guess, I I don't care really right now about Sydney Sweeney, politically or as an actress. She's not really, you know, done anything that I have really hated or really liked. I White Lotus was great, but I don't know that. that's more an ensemble thing rather than an
Right.
individual thing.
And it's
And
a
a man,
series. It's got time to
it's different. Yeah, it's a
yeah.
whole different. So I had no bias going to this into this film.
Ah,
I didn't feel. In fact, I honestly I thought it was going to be better. Um, Everyone involved, I thought, yeah, and the fact that it had tonal issues from the very start, and it just there was it just felt gimmicky. And I think that's the problem. I think it didn't it just felt crafted, and I'd rather it feel, I don't know. It's just one of those films that, and I think this is also problematic because of the films that we're seeing right now, because we are looking at end of year voting. We're seeing a lot of films that do manage to combine genres, who manage to offer expectation and then go in another direction.
yeah.
Um, and this film, unfortunately, when compared to a lot of other stuff we're watching right now, is just definitely not on par.
No.
And I think they know that. I don't think that they were selling this to, I don't think they planned this I don't think anyone was sitting there saying, well, we need to release this right in awards season for
No.
critics because then it'll be top of mind. I
I
don't think that the film really even had that aspiration.
no, I honestly they should have slid this to February. I think
Yeah.
this I think in the depths of winter, this might be a fun time in the theater.
Well, they might, and it still might be for some people. I don't know. I don't. It's hard for. I, I guess if I think this film is going to make it or break it entirely off of star power.
Yes.
Um, and I guess we'll see what kind of star power exists here, if there is any.
Right.
You know, I guess if you're seeing this film, my recommendation would be to just give in as early as possible. Don't think, don't overanalyze. In fact,
Just watch.
to a certain extent, don't even ask questions of what you're watching. And for all of this, this is completely the opposite of how any critic will approach a film, unfortunately. But if you can completely just not think about anything logically, just go with it. Don't think ahead because then you will see the twist and turn before they get there. And then
Or you'll be
maybe,
disappointed that they didn't do it your way.
sure, you know, I guess if you can just go in knowing that you're supposed to be having a fun time with this, even though the majority of the first half suggests you're not.
Right?
So
Yeah.
if you can go in and approach it from that angle, you might be able to enjoy it. It's
Yeah. So yeah, so that's the Housemaid, Amanda Seyfried. That's this Friday, the 19th. In stark contrast to her other film, which
which,
comes out next week on Christmas, The
yes.
Testament of Anne Lee, A24?
I
No,
think Focus Features,
Focus. You're right, it's
I
Focus.
think.
Um, about Anne Lee, one of a founding member of the American Shaker movement,
Yeah.
which is like a Quaker offshoot. Um, it's a musical,
Yeah.
not necessarily because they wanted to make it a musical,
Well,
but
yeah.
because music weirdly plays a big part in the Shaker faith and behaviors.
And the film too. The film is the way
Yeah.
the film it's the way it's structured. I, I will say that this is an incredibly interesting film.
Yes, I will allow that word.
Um, in that it does buck convention quite often. Um, the musical elements, which um, include some sort of choreography at times. Um, that is not necessarily period based. um,
Although some of it apparently is.
yes, some of it, but this is a film that isn't bothered with tradition to a certain extent,
No.
even though it is about a culture that is very tradition driven,
Yes.
um, or religion and whatnot. It's an interesting film. There are aspects of it that I really like, and there are things about it that make the it feels like this was, the over 2 hour runtime a little hard to get through.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful film to look at.
Yes.
Um, because I mean, just all the period, we start in England and then we come across to America and the early, the American imagery. But it's a gorgeous film. It's got a great cast: Seyfried, Lewis Pullman, Thomas and Mackenzie.
Yeah.
Um, there's a lot to like in this film, but this is not a big I don't want to say crowd pleasing, because I think if you like the film, then you'll be very pleased with it. This is not your blockbuster film. This is
No,
a very
this
large art house movie.
correct. Yes.
Um,
And
in a
and
good way.
actually, yeah, and typically I wouldn't necessarily suggest this, but this is a film where, and I didn't watch this till after, but the trailer might give you an idea of what you're about to get into. I
Yeah.
think the trailer's fairly honest on this one. So, um, I, it's getting some great reviews. Um,
And there are
and
things to praise.
and they're definitely, again, going back, I think this might have, like, when we're talking just sound design, original songs and whatnot, this is definitely one of the better films in that regard. Um, the argument for me is not, again, not the performances, not the style of the film, but maybe the length and the script itself. Or there is something about never being in the film that I think hurts this film a little bit. And never really understanding the characters. Yes, I understand on paper, Amanda Seyfried's character, and the journey she takes. But I don't necessarily understand why anyone follows her, or there's just a lot of things that I guess for me didn't add up, and maybe that's just how it is. There are going to be people who it probably connects with immensely. I had issues connecting with really any aspect of the story, um, and that's
Even
where
yeah,
my
even
my
if you
hang up.
understand how they get from point A to point B, it's relatability is, you can understand, but you may not relate.
Sure.
And so, I mean, and there's a difference there. So, and there are, to be fair, there are films that you may relate to, but you don't understand.
Yeah.
So, so it's, I
Yeah.
mean,
I mean, I just, and I probably overthink it in this one. Again, maybe this is not one of those films that you're supposed to get into somebody's shoes, or it's not expected that everyone does. Um,
well, to be fair, not everyone could be a shaker. What they're
no.
either extinct or about to be.
Yeah. Well, and that's
So,
there are some interesting power dynamics. Usually, when we have religious films, they are led by men,
yep.
and they tend to go. A lot of those movements kind of head in the cult direction, where men decide that they want something particular, which tends to be other men's wives for some reason. And
Yeah.
this is
But
not that film.
this is not that film. But you'll note
So
that the power often plays out in terms of wants
yes, yes,
the same way.
yes. It's a
Uh,
different
it's
want.
weird
Yeah.
how the organizational goals will mirror
Sure.
the leader's goals or
Yes.
desires. And if you watch this, you'll understand exactly which part.
Yeah, and
Um,
I think if you're into period pieces, I think if you're into religious studies, if you're into somewhat experimental films, I would probably say again, watch the trailer. Does it, does that look like that suits you? And if so, go for it.
Yeah, I mean, so let me ask you a question because
Yeah.
I don't want we can't talk too long about this one, but there's another film that I feel I haven't watched that I feel like might be similar in terms of understanding and presentation, and that's The Messenger, with Mila Jovovich as Joan of Arc.
Okay. Sure. Sure. Okay.
I assume you have seen it, so my question
Yeah.
is that
Yeah.
one that I want to go see, and maybe am I going to get the same kind of
Oh, it's different. Oh, it's a radically different film. I hadn't really even thought of that for years. I haven't seen that for years. I think it's a flawed film. I think that one's easier to me, that one feels easier to get into. But that said, I don't know that it's a better made film.
uh,
It might just be a easier accessible sort of. I'd have to go back. I'd have to, and because that again, that one is a long, if I remember correctly, there might even been addition like two cuts of that film.
oh,
Um,
really?
I'm trying to remember, but yeah, that's
Oh, well, no wonder it's a Luc Besson film.
yeah, yeah, it's and yes,
That brings its own
yeah,
need to approach.
and I think that was right after Fifth Element, if I'm or right there.
Um, I feel like it might have been. Stand by. Fifth Element 97. Uh, The Messenger is pretty close to that. Leon is 94, Fifth Element's 97, Messenger's 99.
Yeah, so if it wasn't the follow up, it was soon after, and he was kind of riding a high of, um, as many directors do, I think, where you're given a certain element of
Right.
leniency when you're following up something that's very strong, or very popular, I guess I should say.
Mhm.
I haven't really, yeah, I hadn't thought about that film in a very long time. It's not a
Yes, there's an
masterpiece.
international version.
There, okay, there you go. Yeah, like I said, it feels like it had at least two versions, and they were both overly long, if I remember correctly. I would
Yeah.
I would
Two
say this one probably as artistically is stronger,
Okay.
but I'd really have to go back to that. It's been forever since.
Yeah, I may have to watch it. I mean,
Uh,
it's
I mean,
it's cheap. It's cheap on Amazon.
yeah, I don't remember it being horrible, but I don't remember it being. There's no epiphany,
Right.
and I think maybe that's important for that. I don't know. I don't know. Um, and she's driven by visions where this is a different. I think there's a little crossover, but I think they're radically different films.
Right. And then, of course, there's the Lily Sobieski version of Joan of Arc, which I have not watched either. So,
Yeah, I think Joan
uh,
of Arc is a harder character in the sense that there's a supernatural or spiritual element to it
that's
that.
more upfront.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or more, it's funny because this film it does have sort of these magical realism moments, where you understand at least the hysteria of it. A lot or at least the group participation stuff.
Right.
I think that was actually really interesting. Again, I think there's a lot of interesting stuff in this film,
Mhm.
and ultimately just didn't really come together for me in a way that completely worked. Um, but I think that there's a lot that is good in it. Um, I think that the shared experience, where you see these people in a room together, um, experiencing something together that they could not experience on their own.
Right.
And again, that's kind of the religious hysteria sort of group participation stuff. But they're really kind of initially strange scenes, but you kind of get how you could get all wound up and wrapped up in what is going on. I guess for me, the issue of the film is the quieter moments. Um, and it does have some interesting things that go left unaddressed, and they're purposefully left unaddressed, about some of the characters. And the brother, I think the brother is an interesting character, or but anyway, I don't- you know
What's the
it's
brother, Lewis Pullman?
is it the brother? Okay,
Yeah,
I was like, I hope that's anyway.
yeah,
His
that's her
stories,
brother.
his story is a little interesting as well. Um, I guess this is a film without answers.
Right. Well,
I think it presents the why, but it never answers the question, and maybe that's fine.
yeah, because most religious films that are true to their religion don't give answers.
Yeah,
So there's
they
that.
may not have them.
Exactly. So, or they may be in question, or that's not what they're trying to push. They're trying to push up too, which is also fine.
Yeah, no,
It's a, it's a narrative choice. I have no problem with that.
there are some kind of silly moments in there that are maybe sillier than, I don't know, but levity's not necessarily a bad thing in a film like this too. So
No, sometimes you got to lighten it up. So yeah. So Amanda Seyfried, 2 weeks in a row. This week, the
yeah,
19th of December. Next week, Christmas. Uh, The Housemaid. Uh, Testament of Anne Lee.
yeah. I mean,
But
of the two, one is trying to do, a Testament of Anne is trying to do more,
yeah,
and push boundaries, um, and that I appreciate. The fact that it doesn't completely work, is can't go unnoticed. But
right.
again, there are people who have really had this film resonate with them for one reason or another.
Yep.
So if you're going to see one of the two, obviously the one that I would pick would be Testament of Anne Lee. But if you do pick Housemaid, just go in, have some wine, couple drinks, I guess.
Yeah. If you can do that at your theater, we can't unless we sneak it in.
Well, and I mean, yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
maybe a couple drinks will make this one. I mean, look, it's simple favor, same director, obviously different, but same sort of what high society sort of.
Yeah. I had it down as a reverse single white female.
Yeah, there's that. It's
Um, yeah,
I don't know. It's
it's a
just
thing.
it's a thing,
It is a thing.
and I
Yeah,
guess
you
I
know
guess
what?
it's pretty.
Let's just leave it at that. It's
That's
a
all right.
thing.
It's a thing.
It's a thing. So yeah, so the holidays are upon us. Like I said, I think this is our last new movie discussion. Um, for the holidays. Like I said, we'll probably come back. We'll talk a little bit about uh Utah Film Critics nominees for
Mm,
awards. We will be voting on those mid to late January. So we'll talk about what we like and dislike, maybe about some of the big
sure.
nominees, or some of the nominees that are films that cross a lot of categories.
Mm,
And then maybe some of the smaller ones that might surprise. But we'll probably talk on those a little bit. This weekend, one of us will be in the happiest place on earth for the weekend, so I'm looking forward to that. Ryan was there. You weren't there too long ago,
no, 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 not all that long.
so
More than a
I
year,
might
but
check in with
that's okay.
some snaps on X or Instagram from the happiest place on earth. I'll be seeing our buddy Craig Price
Okay, very
out
nice.
there from Matinee Heroes, so check him out over there. Yeah, but we'll be touching base with Craig, who lives out there. But yeah, and then in January, we actually already have, I don't know if you saw, we already have our first scheduled
Yes,
screening of 2026.
yeah, and it's
It's it should be good.
yeah, I hope so.
28 years later, Bone Temple.
Yeah,
So
and
looking forward to that.
contrary, that one we know going in is going to be bonkers.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
We've already been
I would
that's been
I would be
foreshadowed.
disappointed if that one wasn't bonkers. Oh, but Boyle is not directing.
No, it's
Nia
no, but
DaCosta.
yeah,
So,
but it's I mean we
oh, it's
still
still bonkers.
yeah
Still going to be bonkers. So, and then last week and a half of January is Sundance, the last Sundance film, the last real Sundance Film Festival before it relocates to Boulder, Colorado next year, where they will still call it Sundance, although I don't know why. But yeah, so we're both going to cover that. We'll see what we see at Sundance. We're still in
yeah
the early perusal stages of the program.
yes
Schedule is not even close to being out, so we'll have to see how that goes. So, happy holidays, everyone. Merry Christmas.
yeah
Happy Hanukkah, if that's your thing. New Year's coming up. Let's get to 2026 in one piece, everyone. That's important, getting there in one piece. Let's see if we can't have a good cinematic 2026 as well. Ryan, any end of year messages for anyone?
uh no I think we'll save those mostly for kind of our wrap up when we hit the award season, but I think that it's been an interesting year for films, and it would be nice if more films were being seen in theaters. But no, I think it's. I just have to sit down and kind of figure out where I'm going to place everything, and that can be a little hard.
I started, and I think I'm just gonna have to go with my gut and then see what
Well,
happens.
sure, yeah, and for me, and at the moment, I'm digging through the foreign films, so I'm getting a lot of variety in that regard. So. Um, but yeah, I think it's been a pretty good year. I think there are a couple things that we could go into that were not maybe as strong, but we'll do that on the next time.
Yep, there you go. So there you go. That is it. That is The Housemaid. That is The Testament of Anne Lee. That is our wishes for you guys to have a good holiday season, and we will see you next time. But until we do, don't forget to like us, follow us on social media. Go to the website, vsmoviepodcast.com. Get links to all of our stuff there. Let us know how we're doing. Let us know how you're doing. Let us know if we missed anything.
I'm sure we did.
And until we talk to you again, be good, stay safe. I'm Mark. That's Ryan. Bye, Ryan.
See you folks.
And we will talk to y'all later. Bye bye.